Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming, and a special thanks to Demetrio and Jamela for joining us, two of the trustees. Demetrio Gonzalez-Hoy is the president of the West Contra Costa Unified School District, and Jamela Smith-Folds is the clerk. We're going to have a presentation by the two guest speakers. And then we're going to have question and answer session. We will record the presentation, and we'll stop at the end of the presentation. So please, Demetrio or Jamala, which one of you wants to go first?
So I have the presentation. So if you wouldn't mind letting me share my screen.
Sorry, hold on a second.
No worries.
Oh. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen with the presentation?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm gonna put it up and then I'm gonna close this so you're not all seeing yourselves, but can you still see it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you, Councilmember Bonner, for inviting us. It's always exciting when people invite us to have these type of conversations with community. As council member said, my name is Demetrio Gonzalez-Hoy. I am the current board president for the West Contra Costa Unified School District. I serve on the board with my other four trustees. For Area 1, we have Clerk Smith-Folds, who's the vice president of the board. For Area 2, we have Trustee Authority Christian. Area 3, we have Trustee Mr. Phillips. And for Area 5, we have Trustee Leslie Reckler. The district is divided in these 5 areas, as you can see on the screen. This is fairly new. We've had this system since I believe the election of 2020, or actually the election before that. Don, I'm already hearing you laughing at me. Don Gosney, as you all know, has been part of our meetings for a long time. So if I get something wrong, I know he's going to correct me. So Don, please jump in if I do get something wrong. Anyways, my area is Area 4, which you'll see in purple, which overlaps with actually Councilmember Bonner's. We do represent a larger area. We represent 5 cities within West Contra Costa and unrepresented areas as well. All of our board meetings, we meet twice a month, plus special meetings and committee meetings. They're all available in person and in Zoom, but our board meetings happen at DeJohn Middle School, Lavanya DeJohn Middle School in Richmond. But like I mentioned, they're also on Zoom available to the public. Our superintendent, who really is the one running the everyday work, is Kenneth Hurst. Dr. Kenneth Hurst. He's been in education for now, I think 27 years. It says 25, but really we added 2 years since he's been here. He is the former superintendent of Othello School District up north. Before that, he was an associate superintendent in Oceanside, down in San Diego. And then he also worked before that in San Diego as well. About West Contra Costa. So right now we have about actually 25,000 students, which has gone down in the last few years. So the data on the left side is actually a little outdated, but we looked at data yesterday and we have about 25,000 students, about 3,500 employees. As I mentioned, we have schools in 5 cities. And even though we're elected in areas, we all try to make decisions on how it impacts the full district. We have 54 schools, which is about 200 to 250,000 residents. And in front of you all, you can see a little bit of our demographics. A little bit of what we're currently doing. Dr. Hurst got here a year and a half ago. We are finishing our strategic planning process, which defines our vision, our mission for the district, our student focus, our priorities, our graduate profile. So all this started with an equity audit that we did a year and a half ago, which showed us the areas in our system that we were not doing well on and some areas that we were excelling on. And from that, we created our strategic plan. We should be done with it in the fall, which will then help us create our North Star on how we prioritize things in our district. So a little bit of academics. I do have 45 slides, so I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible. So council member, if you do see questions, I'd be happy to take them at the end if you would like. But I know I have a lot to go through, so I'll be as quick as possible so we have enough time for that. So a little bit of our current graduate profile. In West Contra Costa graduates who leave our district, we hope are leaving as innovative thinkers, critical thinkers, that they have a healthy mind and body, that they have skills as communicators and collaborators, and that they are responsible and courageous members of our society. That's really what we hope students leave our schools after graduating as. Some current data, and some of this is actually all of this is from last year. We are currently getting graduation rates, graduation numbers, acceptance numbers from CSUs and UCs. CSUs, we're just getting UCs we have, but I haven't updated it. So this is from last year. So in front of you, you can see the CSU admission rates of our students by high school. The only high school that I don't have here is actually there's two, excuse me, Vista and Greenwood Academy. But on the right side, you see the acceptance rates and then the number of applicants that we have from each high school. Then for the UC system, same thing. This is last year's numbers. There are updated numbers online, but I didn't have enough time to update them. But you can see it on the right-hand side, our number of applicants and acceptance rates to the UC system from our high schools. And then this continues just so you all can see it over time in the last 3 years, our UC admission rates of how many of our students that have applied to UCs. And on the right-hand side, last column, you see the average of the last 3 years. This does not include this year. Now in a lot of our high schools, we also offer career pathways, which is honestly one of our strengths. Some of our pathways are Project Lead the Way, which is STEM, multimedia, career exploration, multimedia. For other schools that's different than STEM. Welding, excuse me, and construction trades, which is very minimal. We do have it at Kennedy High School. But we do have CTE pathways in other of our schools, like at Richmond High and De Anza. The Health Academy, Health, Engineering, Information Technology, Law, and Fab Lab. All this, what this means is that and when a student goes into a high school, and if we have these career pathways, they're able to choose, I would like to be in the law pathway, and then the classes that they take prepare them to go into that career field. They also get simulations. For example, the Health Academy at De Anza High School, it's amazing. We have a professor who teaches one of the health classes, and she teaches them from how to measure blood pressure to how to do first aid, and they actually leave the school with an AA degree, which is pretty amazing. We also offer visual and performing arts. We have band, jazz band, dance, and depending on the high school, we also have choir. De Anza High School has choir, for example, but not all of our high schools offer that. Now, some reading, writing, and math data. This is grades 2 to 11. So in each column, what you'll see is on the very top, on the left-hand side, this is our math benchmark, our math data, and on the right-hand side is our reading data. So as of right now, and as of the winter, 23% of our students are at math level, grade level, and then when it comes to reading, as of the winter, 38% of our students are reading at grade level. What that means is that if you are a third grader, you're reading at a third grade level. But the opposite of that is that we have 62% of our students who are not reading at grade level. So you could be in fourth grade and be reading at a second grade level. And this data is broken down by race, as you all can see. And according to the data, obviously, our largest populations of minority students who are Hispanic and African American are also doing very poorly when it comes to our data on both math and reading compared to other races. Excuse me, I should have said also, this is our math and reading test that we give within the district. So this gives us data. Students test, teachers give this test 3 times a year, and once in the fall at the beginning of the year, once in the winter, and then once at the end of the school year. We also have iReady and the SBAC, which is our state test. And this is data on that state test from last year. You all can see on the left, it's math, and on the right, it's reading as well. And it's broken down by ethnicity as well. Okay, and I will share this slide with all of you. So I'm sorry, I know I'm speeding through it, so you all can take more time later to look through it if you like. But some things that we are focusing on to increase academic achievement, which of course is one of the reasons why I'm in the position, when I went into the position as long as I'm sure Clerk Smith-Folds as well. We are pushing to increase this academic achievement. We have ongoing professional development for our teachers. We're doing monthly central PD offerings as well as side offerings. We're also doing focus by schools who data shows need the most support. So the district's providing additional professional development for the focus schools. We also have, as I mentioned, embedded coaching at the sites and leadership development for administrators and vice principals who ultimately support teachers in their school. And then, as I mentioned, we also have tiered supports on schools that need intensive support and professional development. Some examples of that professional development, this year we have done 21 central literacy professional development sessions offered by central office staff, as well as early literacy and SIPS, which is our systemic instructional phonological awareness and phonics and sight words program. It's a lot of words, of course, but this is the professional development that we are providing in the district. And then when it comes to our focal schools, the ones that need the most support, we're providing additional PD. Okay, so this is our English language learners data. So English language learners, when they come to this country, or if they're already in this country, but at home they learn another language first, which is amazing. They still have to be able to reclassify through our system, which means that you are English proficient. And in order to do so, you have to pass a test, a reclassification test. And this is the data for reclassification as of the last few years. We were projected at 8%. I just heard from staff that this year we're actually going to go up to 9%, which is very positive. It's not great. We want that to increase more because we have a lot of students that need to be reclassified so that they can later on take the same classes as everybody else. Because if you have not reclassified by the time you get to high school, you have to take ELD and other potentially remedial classes to catch up in the language. So we, of course, want students to reclassify. The goal is by 5th grade, the latest. And we have made some increases on the data since COVID. So that is good news, but we have to increase this even more. Some professional development that we're offering are bilingual teachers and really our general ed teachers who support English language learners. Here are just a couple of pictures of that PD. And then on the right, you'll see the PDs that we've been offering this year. Now, some data about our chronic absenteeism. I did want to speak on this because this is definitely something that the community can support us on. A trend that we're seeing statewide in California is that since COVID, a lot of kids are not coming to school. So even in our budgetary projections, because we get funding by how many students come to school, we're even our projections were wrong and our projections were conservative. As of right now, as of yesterday, we saw that we had 90% of students who are showing up to our schools, and we need to increase that very rapidly. So this is something that everybody here, if you know of students, continue to encourage them to come to school. But since COVID, we've seen a decline in students coming to school. So and you'll see it here in this data. Now, when it comes to suspensions, the positives that we have seen a decrease in suspensions in the last couple of years. They always start getting higher towards the end of the school year. But this is our data as of March. And then in the yellow line, you see this year's numbers. Okay, a little bit of finances. Our district is in a not such great place right now financially. We did get a notice of concern from the county this spring, which means that they do not believe that we're gonna meet our financial obligations. And because of that, they were giving us certain remedies to support us, including giving us a fiscal advisor. And they directed us to make certain number of cuts. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that, but I'll just show this is our multi-year projection when it comes to our budget. We have a very large budget. And what you see here on the first column is this school year's finances. The second column is next year, and the third column is the year after that. In order to get approval on our budget by the county, we have to show our 3-year plan to be fiscally responsible and positive. Unfortunately, as of right now, we are showing that we are going to have next year a $10 million deficit, and then the following $19.8 million deficit. So right now we're having to figure out how are we going to make our budget positive or neutral so that we don't have a deficit, which means that we're not spending more than what we are bringing in revenue. So at the moment, we have a committee happening that is reviewing all of our contracts and services that go into our schools and seeing what we can cut. But as you all know, every dollar that we get from the state and the federal government is being used for something. We have huge amounts of need in our district, and every dollar is being spent. So really, it's not a question about what money is not being spent that pays down the deficit. It's really a question about what do we need to cut in order to pay down the deficit and be budget neutral. So we are going through the process of reviewing all of our services, seeing what we can take off that does not match our priorities. And if we don't find enough to cut in those areas next year, unfortunately, we're going to have to look at how are we staffing our central office, how are we staffing our schools to potentially decrease the number of staff so that we can have enough money to pay for everything else. So unfortunately, our budget's not great. Now, when it comes to facilities, I know there were a lot of questions about facilities that we got through email. So I'm just going to give a very quick update and I'll answer some of the questions that we got. So right now, what facilities department's doing and what your bonds are really paying for, and we're incredibly thankful that our community has supported schools by approving some of our bonds. Kennedy High School is currently replacing the field turf and track, as well as we're getting new grandstands for the fields. The anticipated completion is this May. Collins and Cameron School are getting new HVAC systems. Cameron's getting also some replacements of their building because it's a very old building. So that's on their way. And then it's supposed to be completed by April of next year. Riverside Elementary School, they have a restoration project for their playground. They have new play structures, and I'm going to show pictures in a minute, which I'll go pretty quickly on, but so you all can see. And then the completion is supposed to happen this fall. And then Lake Elementary, we're doing a full rebuild of Lake Elementary School. The completion is supposed to happen in 2025. Right now, it's the rebuild is currently happening in the moment. And then you're welcome to sign up. Our facilities department sends newsletters with updates on all of our projects. So here are two examples of some of the projects. And on the left, you'll see Cameron School and the rebuilds happening there. On the right is Calling Elementary School and the critical needs projects that happen in that school. Here on the left, you'll see the construction happening at Kennedy High School, which right now is just on the fields. And then on the right, you'll see Lake Elementary School, which is in the early stages of their full rebuild. And then before I move on, there were questions about Measure R, which is the newest bond that was passed by voters, and what that money will be used for. That money has been prioritized to rebuild our last two high schools that need to be rebuilt, which is Kennedy High School and Richmond High School. All other high schools have been rebuilt. And so that money is going to be because of costs, just of materials, labor, and everything else. The money is not going to take us as far as taking us in the past. So as of right now, we are prioritizing those two schools, as well as we're putting money aside to potentially rebuild Steech Elementary School, which is very old as well. And then to use some money to upgrade some of our schools that don't have air conditioning, so upgrade their HVAC, because as we have seen, heat has gone up in our community. So some of our schools, especially the ones that have second floors, it almost becomes impossible to teach and learn in those environments. So we are going to have to update some of their air conditionings because some of our schools don't have it when they got rebuilt. Now we are looking for volunteers to serve in the CBOC, which is our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, which Don Gosney, who's here, knows very intimately. The Citizens Bond Oversight Committee is a committee that ensures that the bond money is being used appropriately, and really they help us oversee our bond program. So we really do need volunteers from the community, because everybody who serves in that committee is from West Contra Costa mostly. So if you're interested, please contact us, because we are looking for more volunteers. We also have another committee, which is the 7-Eleven committee. And this committee is in charge of advising the board on how to sell current property that is not being used by the school district. So we have a few property. We have Seaview, which is in San Pablo, or in the unincorporated area. I can never remember if it's San Pablo or unincorporated, but we also have Harmon Knolls, the Adams site, if you all remember Adams Middle School, that's vacant, and then the Portola side, which is the Portola Middle School, if you all remember as well. Actually, that's being used at the moment, but Adams, Harmon Knolls, and Seaview. So staff and this committee are looking at options to potentially sell these properties, and so that we can use those funds for other things. So if you're interested, you're welcome to go on the webpage, which is on the left. Okay, human resources, our HR department. As I mentioned, we have a huge HR department. We are the second biggest employer in the area. And unfortunately, we have, as everybody knows, we have a shortage of teachers and classified staff nationwide, but in our state and in our district, it's been hitting us heavily. So we started with a lot of classrooms without teachers. Our hope is that next year we will be able to recruit more teachers, as we've come to agreements with our labor unions. We've been able to increase compensation a bit, that we're going to be able to fill all of our openings. But this is the data from this school year on how many openings we have. We had as of March. As you all can see, in August when we started school, we had 98 openings for teaching positions. And thankfully, we've been able to recruit more and more, but we still even currently have 36 openings because we have not been able to recruit enough teachers. Classified openings, these are aides, paraprofessionals, secretaries, custodians. These are our openings, and classified has been hit very, very hard. August, September, and October, as you all can see, we had over 400 openings. As of March, we have 161 openings, mostly aides and paraprofessionals. Our projected vacancies for teachers, we project that we're gonna need 37 teachers, and the 37 teachers in elementary school, 24 in high school and middle school, and then 47 special education teachers, who are obviously our biggest need right now. And the state has even less teachers there, but that's really what we're looking for. So if you know of anyone interested, teachers on other districts, we would love to steal them and for them to come to our district. Now, some of our strategies to recruit teachers, we are trying our best to think outside the box in order to recruit more employees. So on the left, you'll see some of our focuses to recruit special education teachers and classified staff, and on the right, as well as how to diversify our workforce. And because I don't want to take too much time, you all can read the different strategies that we're utilizing. We also have this grow your own pathway where classified employees can become teachers. So if you know of anyone who would like to start in that path, start as an aide, start as a classified staff, and later on become a teacher, they are able to do that through our district. The district pays for the tuition of an employee, and they can get their bachelor's degree, or if they hold a bachelor's degree, they can apply for a teaching residency program through the district. Sorry, I'm gonna move past this one real quick. When it comes to labor, currently we just finished negotiating with our biggest unions. With Teamsters, we represent all of our classified staff. We just negotiated a 2-year agreement. With our supervisors who supervise classified staff, a 2-year agreement as well. United Teachers of Richmond, who represent all of our teachers, we just negotiated a 3-year agreement. And WCCA, who represents our site administrators, we just negotiated a 1-year contract. The only union that we have not finished negotiating with is adult school educators, who are represented by a different union, and we're still in talks with them. We have quite a few human resources workshops. So if you know anyone in the community who would like to come work for West Contra Costa, please share this information with them, and send them our way, because we would like to really have them in our system. I do want to end with some positives. So the next 4 slides are just some really great things that are happening. So one of our teachers is actually a finalist to become County Teacher of the Year, and then potentially State Teacher of the Year. Patricia Ogura from Hercules Middle School, who's a special education teacher, is amazing. Right there in the middle is one of our finalists. So she's one of our Teachers of the Year for West Contra Costa, but also a finalist in the county, and we find out very soon if she's the winner. We also had Shayla McKinney, who is actually one of California's Students of the Year, which is really amazing. So I did want to give her a quick shout out. Out of millions of students, she was one of the winners, and I think she went to Richmond High School. Oh no, Pinal Valley High School. Excuse me, Pinal Valley High School. We do currently have our student art show at the Richmond Art Center. It ends soon, so if you're interested, please go. I think that it ends this week. So you still have a few days to go and check out the work that our students throughout the district have been working on. We did have also some of our amazing administrators who this year won different awards. So in the screen, you'll see the different administrators that won this year. And this is done, I think, in North and South California. So pretty amazing. We had so many winners this year. And then, as we mentioned earlier, we do offer community listening sessions. Clerk Smith-Folds and I, once a month. We wish we could do more, but between all the meetings, this is all we can accommodate. But usually they're on a Saturday. This May, because of all the graduations, we're doing the next one Monday, May 22nd, 6 to 8 p.m. So If you know of anyone who was not able to come and would like to come and share concerns or just come learn more about what's happening in the district, they're welcome to come. And we do offer these, as I mentioned, monthly. Okay, thank you again for having us. I'm gonna share this presentation with Councilmember Bana so she can share it with all of you as well. And Clerk Smith-Folds, is there anything that you wanted to add? I really sped through that. I hope that I didn't go too fast. But anything you'd like to add, Clerk Smith-Folds?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamela Smith-Folds. I am the clerk of the school board. It's a pleasure being here. President Gonzalez-Hoy, you did an outstanding job. I don't think I have anything to add. I am adding our email addresses to the chat right now, so please look at the chat in a minute and capture those email addresses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the presentation. I'm going to end the recording now so we can go to question and answer session.